Well, welcome back to Marriage Mondays. This has become one of the favorite things that we have done just because we get to sit down, have a conversation with a couple that's a part of our church and just get to learn from them. We've been married for a year and a half, so we really feel like this is just as much for us as it is for all of you. We get to learn and just get these pieces of wisdom that we can apply to our lives. So we are so excited that you're here with us today. And joining us, we have Keith and Jumoke Burney, and we're so excited to just learn from them today. So welcome. We're so glad that you're here today. And let's just jump right in because I love the story of how you met. I just love all of those different fun, random things that happen. Why don't you talk us through how you met and how you got married? Just that journey.
Want me to start?
Go for it.
So I'll take quarter numbers 1 and 2. I'll let you take quarters 3 and 4.
Got it.
So believe it or not, I was new to Charlotte probably like a year in when I met Keith. We met at a mutual friend's party. And it's funny because I think, there was a lot of people there. It was a party. And so I was meeting people, and I think Keith was meeting people. And he approached me at the end of the night asking me for my phone number, but I had already given my phone number out to someone else that night. And so I kind of was just like, oh, well, I don't have my phone. I kind of played this little game of not having my phone. When in reality,
this is amazing.
You don't really need your phone to give out your phone number.
No, did you buy this at all, or what were you thinking?
No, I knew exactly what was happening. I was like, wait, oh, you're saying no.
Wait a minute.
It registered. I'm like, oh, this is really happening.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. So that's kind of like quarter 1. Quarter 2, so at the end of that night, he did give me his email address. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Long story short, quarter 2, the guy that I gave my number to that night never came to anything. And so that email address just kind of resurfaced, like, oh, what about that other guy? So Keith Burney comes into the story. And so, I look him up on Facebook. He kind of researches me. We kind of do our homework on each other, and we kind of start from there.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
And then I'll let you take quarters 3 and 4.
Hold on, let me pause this video real quick. Listen, if you're watching, if you've ever been the email address guy, girl, there's still hope.
There's still hope.
There's still, because look at this man.
That's right.
It was one of those things, like, my friends knew I was going to ask her for her phone number, so they're in the corner watching. So to save face, I give her my contact information, thinking we'll never see each other again. It'll never happen. But we do get connected, and at this point, I'm kind of suspicious. I'm like, we hit it off. What's happening? But we're talking, chatting via Facebook, and I ask her again for her phone number. I get it this time.
I gave it to her.
And so I asked her eventually. I'm like, what happened that night? Like, I thought we were, and that's when she told me, hey, I had already given my number away once, and that's kind of my role. And I actually respected it.
Sure.
I respected it. It affirmed what I saw in her that night.
Yeah.
And so I asked her out. We went on a couple of dates, and we didn't stop. And
Oh, come on.
here
Still
we
going
are.
on dates
Here
since
we are.
2022.
Here we are. Here we are.
What's the timeline on this? Like, when did y'all meet?
So, let's see if I get my times right. We met in April
Good job.
of 09.
Good job.
09. April of 09. And then we dated until July of 11. And
Got
then
engaged then.
we got engaged in July of 2011 and then married September of 2012.
Wow. So you guys are going on, this will be 10.
This will be 10.
Yeah.
This will be
Exactly.
10.
So
Yeah.
special.
Congrats.
Big one.
Thank you.
That's
Big one.
cool.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, what I
Awesome.
love about, so a story, I feel like it gives a little bit of insight into who the people are as individuals, but I think it's also a great kind of way to ask this question. I think this is interesting for people. For those who are maybe where you guys were in 2010, 2011, maybe they're not married, they're either dating or they're wanting to date, like this is a goal in their life, they want to be the Burneys in 2022. Like, what is either something someone watching should look for in someone they might want to date, or what is a red flag that they should definitely avoid if they are not yet married, looking for it? Would love some of y'all's wisdom and insight on that.
Yeah. You go. You got good wisdom.
Yeah, really good question. And I just think about how key forgiveness is in marriage, right? And like, I would want to ask questions around that. I know it's usually taboo to talk about past relationships, but I think it can be healthy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what were some of the challenges? How did you deal with? Hey, conflict at work, talk to me a little bit about that.
That's good.
Are you comfortable asking for forgiveness? Or, are you just bring donuts in and hope everything's
Right.
okay? Like I'd want to ask questions around that.
Really good.
And just to see how comfortable the person is with forgiveness, because it's just a key part. It's reality. And so I'd look for that.
That's huge.
really good.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think my biggest aha for when I knew I loved Keith was and I told him it was our second date. The conversation that we had, it just wasn't solo. It just wasn't him. It was 5 years out. It was his plans, his vision for his life, and just listening to a man to be able to unfold that and have a conversation about that. To me, it's key because you think about, hey, if this is someone you want to marry, what's your vision? What is your plan?
Wow.
And so I felt like he had that, and I had never experienced that within a person that I've dated. And so when I tell you guys second date, I was like, okay, this is the dude. This is it.
Wow.
This is it. I don't have to take any more numbers.
I imagine it's hard to, how do you visualize a life with somebody who can't articulate their vision for life? And it's not that you have to,
Have it all together.
have it all together or have every single minute detail the exact same.
Right.
But if one person's life plan is, I'm definitively moving to South America in a year, and you're like, I kind of like Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's good to talk about that
Yeah.
before you're 6 months into a relationship. I like that. You got to look
right.
for vision.
Yeah, and I love, Keith, what you said about forgiveness. One thing that actually Pastor Jason married us here in the South Park campus, and
Nice.
one of the things that he said to us was, up until this point, the most important thing you've probably said to each other is, I love you. But from now on, the most important thing you'll say is, I forgive you.
Yeah, that's good.
And that is something that, I think that was almost the highlight, one of the biggest highlights of our wedding day was that, and it's so true. Yeah. And just talking about forgiveness and all the other elements that are a part of marriage that might be a part of the hard parts of marriage. Yeah. It says in Proverbs that iron sharpens iron. And so what is something that Jumoke has sharpened in you, and then vice versa, what Keith has sharpened in you? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Several things, and not just saying that for points. I am naturally a private person. I am naturally I'm good being by myself. You have to build trust with me. Intimacy's earned. I'm naturally that way. In some ways, that served me well. But if you're not careful, you can get into isolation really quickly, right? And so she's helped me recognize that about myself and lovingly encouraged me and challenged that. And so I am far more relational, social, vulnerable. I'm still working, as we all are, but without a doubt, I am night and day pre-meeting my wife. And so she's sharpened me in that way big time.
Nice.
For sure.
So special.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, on compliments, Keith is very, just disciplined. He's, like I said, the whole vision straight from our second date. He does a good job planning out his life, casting vision for his life. And I feel like for me, he's given me almost the gift of possibility. I said, it almost sounds like I said possibility, but I meant to say possibility. Yes. I feel like I am super content with wherever I am in life. I can figure out how to just enjoy where I am. But I don't necessarily take the risk to explore something new or even explore the next step in something. And he'll just ask me, well, why not? Well, what have you done? Well, and it's like that natural, gentle push of just have you explored this?
Wow.
And I'm like, well, no.
Not quite.
Not quite. But I will say he has truly helped me to open myself up to possibilities within my career, within myself as a mother. And so that has definitely sharpened me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about you saying that is you're giving me language to something I've noticed in our marriage too, which is I wonder, I'm submitting this to the rest of the conversation for your feedback if this is accurate. I wonder if it wouldn't be a good piece of advice to give someone looking for a potential spouse, that if you're the kind of person who's more oriented towards future, probably good to have someone who's gonna root you in being grateful and enjoying today. And if you're someone who really is good at, I love the moment, I'm not necessarily thinking about a year down the road, maybe it's good for you to have somebody who's gonna challenge you to say, hey, definitely let's enjoy today, but where's this going? Because I know for us, that's me, is I'm kind of Keith, is I know where I want to be, I know where I want to go, I know where I want us to go, I want to open up doors for you to get where you want to be. but sometimes I'm living in 2024.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's nice when Maya can go, but like,
Yeah.
don't you think this day in February of 2022 is like
Yeah.
so beautiful and amazing? And I'm like, well, come to think of it, yeah,
Yeah.
but I kind of forgot
Yeah.
about that because I
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
focused
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder that we all know that marriage is supposed to be a complementary relationship,
Sure.
where parts of you that are weak are going to be
Sure.
accentuated by the strength of somebody else. Maybe one category for someone watching to maybe look for is analyze yourself. Do you
Yeah.
enjoy?
Yeah.
Are you more
Yeah.
you like naturally going to be, I love this moment right now, or are you more naturally, I know where I want to be?
Yeah.
Maybe try to find one of the things to look for.
Yeah.
Have someone who maybe can balance that for
Yeah.
you.
I think that's really cool thing that you said about complimentary, because I think a lot of people think complimentary is like they're just gonna give me affirmation and compliments. It's not. There's not gonna really be any conflict or hard things. It's just gonna be, oh, you're great and this is awesome and whatever. But the thing about iron sharpening iron is like that's a tough process. Like iron on iron, that creates sparks, that creates like
Yeah,
friction.
for
sure.
So it doesn't necessarily mean just let's just affirm each other all day, every day,
Right.
even
Sure.
though that obviously is important. But it's like you said, maybe if you're more future oriented, you need someone that's going to root you in today,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And that might not feel super comfortable,
Yeah.
but it's necessary.
good.
So I love
Yeah.
that.
I love it. Let's. This has become my favorite question. I love this. I don't know why, but I'm so confident that the people are going to get a great answer from Burney. Okay.
Pressure.
Tell us this, either collectively as a unit or individually, if you could like export one practice or one lesson or one thing from your all's marriage to everyone watching who is married or wants to be married. Like, what
Yeah.
is the one marriage hack or marriage like lesson,
Yeah.
major key that you would want to share with people?
I think I'll take this one.
Go.
Because
Yeah, go.
we talk
Go.
about this.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
Go.
earlier in our marriage, I just remember, like, I'd have bitterness in my heart towards Keith. There would be certain things. Why isn't he washing these dishes? Doesn't he see? Or why didn't he X, Y, Z? Whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. And I just felt like just this bitterness inside, and I'm sure it was probably vice versa. Maybe I don't know. But just as I've just continued to develop and like get years behind us in our marriage, one thing that I always try and keep to the forefront, like if I could plaster it on my head, I'd plaster it. Keith chose me. Keith loves me. Like, why does my brain always go to the worst case scenario of him
Yeah.
like intentionally trying to frustrate me, intentionally trying to dog me out, or intentionally trying to do anything other than love me?
Wow.
And I feel like that has helped me to then step back and like really adjust my perspective and say, well, wait a minute. Maybe he didn't do this because of this, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It just helped me to change my perspective
Wow.
That's really
instead
good.
of just being so bitter. 'Cause
That's
Yeah.
massive.
that can just live.
That's
Oh,
massive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
sure.
y'all, the whole video was worth it for that right there. For someone who's forgotten,
Yeah.
this person
It's really
chose you.
helpful.
That's
Yeah.
so
And
beautiful.
I think it
Yeah.
works vice versa.
Yeah.
I had to say yes.
Sure.
So I chose you as well. Like we
sure.
love each other.
For sure.
You know, let's not jump to the worst case.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
So good.
That's a good question. As you asked it, the thought that came to mind is I started this years ago, and she even knows this. But like I've got a note in my notes app. It's got her name on it. It's got a lock, and like I just take notes on her. And
So sweet.
like over the years, it could be random things like, hey, this brand of shoe, her size is a half size smaller. Or it could be something bigger where, hey, she said this was a dream of hers. And it's like, it's almost like I'm creating like a Wikipedia page just for her. And like as I go back over
Wow.
the years, I see
Better than
things.
Wikipedia.
Better
Yeah.
than Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Other people can change.
Jumoke.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Jumokepedia.
But like it's such a tool for me now. And I've got a decent memory, but you don't remember everything.
Right.
And so some of those moments and things she says, I'm able to go back and look on,
Wow.
feedback, questions. And so, yeah, it's just been a great tool that I use often.
That's so great because I feel like as women, and everybody, but I feel like there's something specific about women that feel so loved when we feel seen and known. And so that is just
Yeah.
really helpful to export from your marriage and import into
And I
ours.
love too that like it's a list that you go back to remember, but you're still adding to it.
For sure.
It reminds me, week 1, if you haven't yet watched week 1 of our relationship series, go back and watch it. It's on curiosity. It's the idea of staying in every relationship, in your marriage.
Yeah.
Maybe it's most important in a marriage because who else do you see more than your spouse? And if you have kids, then your kids.
Yeah.
But to choose to stay curious in that
Really good.
relationship and to choose to remember, hey, some weird enmity can get built between the person you love the most just from stupid or not so stupid, just stuff that can make you bitter until you remember,
Sure.
hey, this person chose me, I chose them. I think those 2 hacks, huge. Y'all, thank you so much for blessing us.
Yes.
And I think we're representative of whoever's watching
Yes.
for Marriage Mondays. Like this has been, I've had fun. I kind of just want to go to coffee. Like I want to just
Yeah,
turn
let's
the
just
cameras
continue
off and like,
this.
can we
Yeah.
continue this at night
Overtime.
swim or something like that? This has been a
So
blessing.
helpful.
Thank you guys
Yeah.
for being a
Appreciate
part.
it. Honored.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honored.
Well, if you're watching, as you're watching, and something stuck out to you, do this. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep releasing these on YouTube. If you're watching this on our app, good. This app is going to be a place where we continue to make content that either deepens your faith, that maybe encourages you. So if you haven't downloaded, good. Share the app with somebody.
Yeah.
Share this video with somebody. If you can, if the place you're watching allows you to comment something one of the Burneys said stuck out to you, was memorable to you. We want this to be a blessing not only to you, but to other people in your life. So share this video if you thought of somebody as you were watching it. Maybe don't send it to like your spouse if you're in the middle of a conflict and you want them to hear the part about remembering I chose you. I don't know if I'm not going to give you that advice. But we're so happy you joined us. Join us next Monday for another installment of Marriage Monday. We're so happy you joined us. We'll see you online for church online at 9 or 11 at any of our 6 campuses. And we'll see you right back here on Monday for Marriage Mondays.
We'll
Thanks
see
for
you
joining
next
us.
week.
Bye.